do it. Let's talk RIZIN, guys. RIZIN 42 also happened this past weekend. It went down in Tokyo, Japan. Let's talk main event. Bantamweight Kai Asakura defeated Yuki Motoya by knockout via knee to the body. Round 3, 2:25 of round 3. Mark, go first.
So this is going to be a Mark special. Is that right? You guys didn't get to see these RIZIN fights?
That's right.
That is correct. The only thing I know is we got them all right.
Yeah, we did. Unfortunately, I could not find the John Dodson fight. So although we previewed for them for you guys, I guess I'm only going to recap 3 of them here because, again, the John Dodson video just didn't seem to exist. But he did get another win, UD win. So the role continues. He's been fighting back at flyweight over in RIZIN. And I was hearing it thrown out that there may be some consideration of a flyweight title being introduced. So John Dodson could potentially find himself in the mix for that fight to determine the first champ over there. So good on him for this little late career run. But switching back to the 3 fights I did see, we'll start from the top, as Mike said. Kai Asakura, round 3 knockout of Yuki Motoya. Kai came out. He was clearly just trying to walk down Motoya. But Motoya stood his ground. He made Asakura respect him. Asakura was the faster man throughout, and it was letting him be first. He landed a massive jumping knee at one point earlier in the fight. But Motoya was clinching up to control things. Kai was always advancing. He was always the one that was kind of pushing it, but Motoya was standing his ground. He was countering. And then as the fight went on, Kai really started to mix up the levels of his shots. He was going to the body, and Motoya just kind of kept relying on that clinch to try to limit what Kai could do. He got a takedown or 2, but Kai was getting up. And end of round 2, there was really some beautiful combos from Kai. Motoya made it out, but you could see how dangerous and comfortable Kai was getting. And then in round 3, Kai reverses a clinch and just lands an enormous knee to the body. He could see that Motoya was hurt, walked him into the corner, set up another knee, and that was the end. So Motoya crumpled. Really awesome performance from Kai Asakura. If you could find a way to watch that fight, I absolutely recommend it because Asakura looked fantastic. So nice win for him. And then kind of plays into the other fight on this card, which I didn't even know this was the setup here. But he is now going to fight for a vacant title,
Nice.
the winner of this next fight, which happens to be Juan Archuleta. So we are going to get Kai Asakura, Juan Archuleta, which is fucking dope and which I'm pumped for. The bantamweight title over there in RIZIN has been vacant ever since Kyoji dropped it like 3 years ago. So they just never kind of brought it back, and it's going to be Kai and Archuleta fighting for it now. So switching to Archuleta, he fought Naoki Inoue. It did not start off so good for Archuleta. Inoue beautifully stuffed a takedown, ended up on top, and then went to work. He is a really slick grappler, worked to mount, had a smooth back take, had some choke attempts, some nice knees on the ground. It was really not how Archuleta wanted to be starting that fight. He did land a few big shots to close round 1, but he was down for sure. And round 2, he knew he didn't want to grapple again. He came out really aggressive with the striking. He was backing Inoue up. He was still eating jabs. Inoue was jabbing his face off. But the power came through for Juan, I would say, as the differentiator. He dropped Inoue with a right in that round. Then the takedown came after that. Once he had him, hurt a little bit more. Juan was able to start working his wrestling. Went for some subs. He had a guillotine in there. And you could tell as the grappling started to go on, Inoue's gas tank just kind of started failing him a bit. Round 3, Archuleta caught a kick, another takedown, and really took it over. I mean, it still went back and forth. I got to give it to Inoue. He slips out at one point. He took Archuleta's back again, but it was kind of his last gasp. He ran out of gas after that, and Archuleta rode it out the rest of the way. So a nice win for him, and as I said, he's going to be in a huge fight with Kai Asakura. That's going to be, I kind of think, a striker versus wrestler type matchup here because I I could be wrong. Juan does carry power, but I don't think he wants to strike with Kai. So we'll see. That'll be a fun fight. And then the last one was our boy Roberto de Souza with a UD over Spike Carlyle. Spike came out yelling and pointing and talking and just got immediately taken down. And then from there it became a grapple fest, basically. Spike did well to defend. Nothing was easy. He toughed out a guillotine. But, Souza's just unreal. It's not where you want to be with him, plain and simple. I always use the word wizard with this guy, and it's completely true. Spike, to win that fight, he needed to stuff some takedowns, and he just couldn't. Round 2 and 3 were all offensive grappling from Satoshi, more surviving from Spike. And we know he has some fantastic sub-D, which he showed again in this fight, but he lost pretty clearly. So good on de Souza to handle Spike the way you would like to see him handle him. And that concludes the RIZIN recap.